Hello and welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Very excited to be here with five musicians. Am I counting right? There are five, right? Okay. Um, Blossom has been asking me for months to do another musicians live. I think the last one we did was like 6 months ago, right? So here we are. We've got our live and we've got our musicians. I'm sorry, I can't speak, and we're very excited. We're looking forward to this Q&A. So any questions that you have for them, pop in the chat. I know we've gotten some questions already before the live. And I thought Pablo had just joined us, but apparently his note taker is here. Let's see. All right. There we go. I said, oh, I rejected the note taker. I'm sorry. Pablo, come back. So welcome, everybody. I'm a little scattered today. I'm going to get started by letting our musicians introduce themselves. And we're going to start with Blossom because I see her deep in thought and I know she's ready to go. And you're muted. Uh-oh. We're not hearing you. You're still muted. I just want.
Yep. Sorry about that.
Oh,
I
okay.
always
I was
forget.
worried because right away I'm like, did I do something?
Well, I just thought I'll wake you up a bit. You can hear me now, right?
Yes.
Oh, good, good, good. Hello, everyone. Great to be here. Yeah, I was just checking just before we went live. The Ask Your Guides Musician Edition, again, is missing from the live event page on my phone. So, that's one of the glitches. Hello,
So
everyone.
frustrating that keeps happening.
Yeah, yeah, it was there before. Anyway, great to be here with Violet, Melanie, and musician friends. It's so amazing to see everyone. Hi, I'm from Sydney, Australia. Please excuse me if I'm half asleep. I do lives every week and I play music that flows through me. And I just did a live this morning and it's amazing. Basically, I don't plan what I play and music just flows through me when I go into the present moment, reconnecting to my true self or present moment. So, yeah, I hope I have a live, not tomorrow, day after tomorrow. So I hope you'll be able to join me. Just look up Blossom Violet. I'm not a full-time musician. I do it for as a hobby. I don't have albums or anything like that. Insight Timer is my go-to place, and most of my music is here on Insight Timer. And I don't really upload a lot of music, so I do record them. So I'm not sure whether if I'll upload them, but yeah, I hope you're able to join me at my live at some point or other. So welcome everyone, and yeah, back to you, Violet. Thank you for.
Thank you. And I have to add that she doesn't upload a lot of music, but she plays a lot, and I've been recording a lot of them, and she lets me use them for my journaling tracks. So eventually I might have more of her music than anybody else.
So true.
Yeah, we do these journaling lives together, and she plays her piano music while we journal, and it's amazing. And Rob, since you're the other old timer here, I'm going to go to you.
Wow, I'm an old timer? That's
Well,
amazing.
not
I've never been
age-wise.
called that. Okay, I feel like it. Hi friends. Yeah, my name's Rob Gregerson. I have been on Insight Timer, uh, actively participating on Insight Timer a much shorter amount of time than I've been on it. But I started as, if you all know Maria Gullo, I started as basically the person who composed music for her meditations. And years later, when the pandemic hit and everybody seemed to start live streaming, I got into live streaming and then found out Insight Timer had live streaming. So I thought this is a really cool thing. I'll just get on. I'm a one-man band, so I use what's called looping to create all with all these instruments, create on the spot. And I thought I'm gonna do just get on and just do improvised music. I have a jazz improv background, and that slowly morphed into me playing every Beatles, Dave Matthews, Coldplay song I ever knew, and now I just pretty much just play what I consider very reflective kind of cover music and some original stuff too on there. But Yeah, so I live stream, try to do it once a week. I've been in and out lately, but I've uploaded some tracks, but mostly it's just doing the live stream and having a community that comes together that's inclusive and safe. And I share a lot of my story. I used to be a pastor back in the day, and I've done a lot of deconstruction work around faith and religion. So I share a lot of that. And yeah, so I'm super stoked to be here. I've done this one other time and it was great. So yeah, thanks for having me.
Co- Was it only once? Why do I feel like I've seen you more than that?
It was once
Y-
and it was unforgettable because you were
Right?
really traumatized that every woman was like, "Hey, is Pablo single?" And you were like, "What the F?
Yeah, and
Why
that's
is
why I
nobody
invited
asking
Pablo so
Oh,
you could have a rematch. And where is Pablo?
blood is boiling just by you mentioning it. I, I mean, yeah, I mean, I could go on and on, but yeah, okay, we're good. We're good.
All right, so we are going to go to one of our two Matts. I will start with Matt Z. I'm not going to try to say your name again because I'm afraid I'll get it wrong. And we have two Matts, so you're going to be Matt Z.
Okay, be whatever you like. I'm Matt. I'm based out of Santa Barbara. I'm fairly new to all of this Insight Timer. I was introduced by my friend Julie Scon, who is a teacher here. She does Reiki. She does everything. She's fabulous. So I would make meditation music for her. Was introduced to binaural beats when I was younger. I guess I was always younger than today, but 2011, and it's kind of been a part of my life, just frequencies. So my streams, I like to introduce frequencies and how they affect the body, your health. The last stream we did was St. Patty's, so we did the 777 hertz, the lucky frequency, but it's just something that it's a big part of my life, promoting health and sleep and rest. And also, if you're any part of my streams, you'll know that death is a big part. We talk about death, kind of like the lighter side of death, I would say. But it's just a big part on my streams. It's really just kind of we flow. I don't know. There's no really way to explain it. Kind of flowing if you've been there. But I love to interact with people, and if their energy's up here and they need to be here, we try and if it's down here and needs to go up, we bring it up. So, but I'm new, so it's really everything is a test, but we just go with the flow.
Yeah, you've been doing amazing. I listened to your tracks and I love them. Matt Z, how do you say your last name? She's going to test me.
Zizix, like ZZYZX, Zizix. It's the road from I'm in Santa Barbara, so I would drive to Vegas. I had a residency out there DJing, and so I would see all the time. And every time I would stop and kind of bless myself and the earth and the planet, and it just became a part of me really. And now when people drive, they take a picture and they'll send it to me. Yeah, that's Essex. You know, bro. It's
I
just a
love
thing.
it.
It's just a thing. Yeah.
Love it. Love it. And our second Matt, Matt Brent, did I say your name right, Matt?
You said it absolutely correct.
Okay, good. So Matt, I used to watch 4 years ago when the pandemic started. He was on all the time playing his lovely piano music. And that was like a highlight of the pandemic for me. And then he left, he was doing other things. And he recently came back, and I was like starstruck. I was like, oh my God, Matt's back. So then Blossom had been asking for musicians live. I said, okay, we're ready. So here we are. Matt, please introduce yourself.
Thanks, Violet. And yeah, thanks for hosting this. It's wonderful. Hey, everybody. I'm Matt Fettbrandt, and this is, yeah, like Violet said, I started on Insight Timer about, I guess it was 5 years ago, but yeah, it was during the pandemic. And we did live improvisations for about 8 months, maybe close to a year. And then after that, I went away and did, some other stuff. I was a piano bar entertainer for years. And back in October, I decided I needed to chill my lifestyle out a little bit. I'm not a musician who ever really loved playing until 4 o'clock in the morning. And I love mornings, and I love feeling at peace, and I love that kind of lifestyle, so it felt at odds. So I decided, going back to Insight Timer was it was an important thing for me to be able to find presence and find community in that way, instead of like the bar scene. And so for the last, I guess, 2 weeks, it's been about 2 weeks, maybe a little over 2 weeks, been coming back and doing live improvisations with community support, so community input on the individual improvisations. And I try to have a theme for each live. And so, for example, like on Sundays, we were doing reflection and intentions. So I would ask community members to throw out some of their reflections from the past week, and then I would take those suggestions and musicalize them. And likewise for the intention part, what are your intentions for the week? Are you looking to practice presence or something like that? And I try to musicalize that as well. So in that way, it's kind of like it's a co-creation, and that's how I structure my lives here on Insight Timer. And yeah, I have a musical theater background, so I'm really interested in musical storytelling, and that's really where the idea for this type of live came from. So I'm just really happy to be here and happy to be on this Ask Your Eyes. Thanks, Violet.
Thank you for being here. All right, so I'm going to let Melanie take it from here because she is going to put some questions out to you, and you have the option to answer. You don't have to, obviously. So, Melanie, take it away.
Hello and welcome, everybody. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. And I did get some questions earlier today. So one of the questions that I think is great is, what do you hope listeners take away from your music when they experience it on Insight Timer? And you can just unmute yourselves and chat. Don't everybody start at once, or I'm gonna tell what I take away from all of your lives, because I've been to everybody's live here.
I don't think I've ever asked myself that question of like what people take. I usually have an answer to like, or try to, can go off of any question. I'm kind of curious, actually, Melanie, what do you see from everybody's, or what do
Well,
you take away?
I've only been to one of Matt and Matt's. And immediately, like when I saw Matt F, he was just like so full of life and energy. And I just remember like it felt like you were dancing to your music. It was pretty amazing. And so that like brings like a really extraordinary energy. And Matt Z was definitely like, you talked about how you said talked about death. You in the live I was in, you were talking about it, and it was a more mellow vibe, but it was still extraordinary because I felt like really touched, and I felt like in both of those the community was really touched. And Rob, and yours, you're just amazing because you're an amazing musician, but also you bring such a great sense of humor to everything that you do, that I think that's really reflected in the music. And it feels very lighthearted in an extraordinary way, and you're just welcoming to everyone.
Oh,
I've actually watched some of
thanks.
yours on another platform because you're not on as much anymore. Yeah, exactly. And then Blossom Violet, she's just amazing. Blossom knows I love her so much, and all of her, I have goosebumps, because you're just so saying everything from the heart. And I do know Blossom better than anybody else except for Violet on here, so it's a little easier for me to speak to Blossom's lives because I go to them a lot. But it's just such a beautiful community that is around everybody, but definitely Blossom.
Yeah, I'd add on
Mm.
to Blossoms. Sorry, Mats, I haven't heard your music, but with Blossom is also a friend of mine, and we've shared a lot of our stories with each other. And she's vulnerable with her playing, which is really amazing because I think a lot of times people, musicians, and I'm a trained musician. I went to school. I grew up playing music and all that. Can kind of play a part of playing music, and Blossom puts her vulnerability out there through her playing, and I think people are drawn to it and often might not even know they're drawn to her vulnerability. Um, so I just love that about her and super inspired by it always.
And I want to
I think
echo
if you're
that. I'm sorry. I wanted to echo that, Rob. I have attended Blossom's lives as well, and she is exactly what you just said. And I envy that because I feel like sometimes you're right. As musicians, it's easy to be performative. It's easy to be sometimes, and there's a lot of let's be real. Let's be honest. There's a lot of ego in the musician world. There's a lot of ego in the world in general, but I don't feel that sense from Blossom when I watch her lives. And I don't know how she feels about it, but that sense of honesty in your music, Blossom, is powerful. So that's a really wonderful thing to have here.
Oh, thank you.
anybody else?
I feel like crying now. Thank you. Thank you. Oh,
Aw.
Rob, you haven't mentioned about yourself.
Um, uh, yeah, you know, oh man, because I don't really know what to say about it. I try to. I mean, I'm primarily a cover artist, right? So I'm doing other people's songs, which I'm not even sure we're allowed to be doing that, but I do it anyway, so don't tell anybody. Um, well, I mean, tell some people because I'd like to have them at the lives. But I guess what I'm saying is, I'm interpreting often other people's songs that I think have deeper meaning, and some of those songs, there's a couple songs that get requested every single time I play, and I try not to play the same songs every time I go on. Uh, Here Comes the Sun is one, and there's just something about that song, the Beatles song, Here Comes the Sun. And then Blossom always requests Rainbow Connection, the Kermit the Frog song. Um, so and what's funny for me is like I'm not really a lyrics guy. I just more of an instrument guy, even though I sing. Um, so I too hope that there's a vulnerability and a realness that comes through it. But I was going to say one thing about what Matt F said about the ego. Often musicians, what's behind that ego is incredible insecurity, and so there has to be like this front, you know, when people play because most of us are deeply insecure. That's where so much of the sensitivity of creativity comes from. So anyway, I'm ranting, but I don't really have an answer for me. That's why hope comes through. Yeah.
I can attest, I should say, to the insecurity factor of even just streaming. I started streaming Reddit and Twitch. Excuse me, sorry, I don't want to ruin your stream on other platforms, and I never showed my face. It was just about the sound and the frequencies. And I think to answer your first question, if I show up, I think I just want people to feel healthier. I want them to calm down. My goal is to calm down the universe. And I hear what you're saying too about ego wise, whereas that insecurity is there. You want to be heard, but you don't want to be kind of this thing, but you still want to be heard. But I honestly just want people to feel calmer if they ever listen. Whenever I go to Blossom's lives, I'll be doing whatever, and I can just be working or whatever, and then she starts playing, and there's like, oh, there we go, and then it's just floating all around me. Her sounds is beautiful. I haven't been to Matt or Rob. I've been to Violet's lives, but where you can just you show up there, it's happening, and you can just kind of like, all right, there's an energy here, there's a vibe, right? And I think that's awesome with Blossom. Matt, I got to check yours, and Rob, I will be the next one, 100%.
Sweet.
Awesome.
Anybody else want to add to that? I'm just gonna say I personally think that all of you, I think to be a musician, you're sharing a lot of vulnerability because I don't think you can actually be a great musician without sort of bearing your soul. And I think that's really one of the most vulnerable things you can do, especially when you don't see people and you're not getting feedback other than a chat. That's hard, I think, as a musician, but what do I know? Um, I'm going to just pull up a question that Karen asked. I think this is awesome too. What musical experience has most moved you as a musician and why?
I feel like we're quizzing them. I think next time we need to send questions in advance.
So just
Prepare
come
a
on
short essay.
That's a very good question.
Yeah, I don't envy any of you. I am not good at answering
that's tough.
questions on the fly.
I don't know a specific the pinnacle of musical greatness that has changed me, but I will say my grandmother, who just passed recently, was diagnosed with severe Alzheimer's. So she literally forgot who her husband was. My grandfather would leave the room to go do whatever he had to do. He would come back and she would be frightened by the presence of someone that she knew for, decades, right? And there's this thing where you're like, oh my God, like, how is that possible that somebody, who was very cognitive lost that ability? And when I would see her, it's like, she doesn't know who I am. I'm just, she might be frightened, or she might just be like, I don't know who this person is. This person exists. And so when I would be around her, I realized that the melodies that she had learned from, when she was younger still existed. So the melodies last long after everything is gone, in death, those melodies are still there. So I would literally just start, this train is bound for glory, this train, and then she would, okay. Ding, 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 ding. And so she would get into that because she remembers the melodies over everything else. Those frequencies, I know that they last thousands of millions of trillions of years into the cosmos when you're in that space of out of your humanly body. Those melodies continue to exist, and I can see them in my own personal experiences. And so I think that's been a large part of shaping me musically, who I am, where I know that those, when you send that energy out, it gets received for billions of light years away. So I don't know if that answers your question.
That was a great answer.
I would say the question was, what? Sorry, can you say the question just one more time, just so I know that
Can I paraphrase it, or do you want me to pull up the
Yeah,
actual
just
question?
paraphrase it.
What musical experience has influenced you as a musician?
Totally. So I had the wonderful experience of growing up in a musical family. My whole dad's side of the family is all musicians, and it was inevitable that I was going to be a musician because there was always jam sessions growing up. I was always in the middle of jam sessions. So even when I couldn't play an actual, string instrument or anything like that, I'd grab pots and pans from the kitchen and just bang on them while my family was doing 5-part harmonies. And so growing up, and I always say music was a language before English was for me. Like I knew the language of music. Um, if you ever been to my lives, I play, there's this very weird band that I'll play some of their music from. The band's called Fish, if you guys have ever heard of them. They're in like the jam band world. The jam band world is like Grateful Dead improvisational music. And I love that whole world because I love improvisational music. One of the most incredible experiences I ever had was, I remember it was 2003, and I went to Red Rocks Amphitheater in Colorado. It's like the Denver, Colorado area. And I saw this band called String Cheese Incident. And they are like mostly improvisational music. They have songs, but when you're in this like canyon, that Red Rocks is this basically naturally built amphitheater, and it's unbelievable. I mean, it's like when you look at the stage, you're also looking at plains and fields and mountains in the background, and it's just this like incredible experience. But when a band is in the moment of improv, meaning they don't know where they're going with the music, and the audience is collectively with them, there is nothing like that experience. Most of the audience was high, I will tell you that. I wasn't. That's take that for what it was. But it was like this amazing experience of collectively being in the moment where you don't know where music is going and having this incredible scenery around you. I mean, it was awesome. So that was my experiences.
Nice.
I think there's a lot of synchronicity going on today because Rob mentioned Red Rocks, and my folks who are out of town, they sent me an image from Red Rocks yesterday. They were visiting yesterday, and that, so that's the one synchronicity, and then the second synchronicity is that I what I was going to mention indirectly involves Red Rocks too. So and that is that when years ago, at this point, gosh, I'm losing track of the time, but I used to live and work as a music director in New York City, and primarily one of my biggest jobs there was working with youth chorus, an LGBT plus youth chorus, and we went on a trip to Colorado for a big festival, and part of that trip was at Red Rocks, and and but the experience of being in community with other voices, especially ones where there's purpose and intention behind it. So in this case, working with these young people and not just teaching them the music, but really having a goal with the music, and the goal largely was a social justice message. And so I think that shaped a lot of who I was. I did that in early in my career, and it's the power of singing with other people. I mean, I think maybe Matt can speak more to the science behind the vibration of that, and I'm not an expert on that by any means, but I do know that beyond whatever science may exist there is um, a communal experience that makes, I don't know, it empowers you. You can feel it within your body. I don't know what that is scientifically, but maybe that's just human emotion being released together, or being amplified, I should say, together. And I felt it often when working with that group, and I feel it often when working with choruses, with choirs, and again, particularly with this group of really extraordinary people who wanted to just put out a message into the world. And so that was a deeply influential experience through my life, and I did that for about 6 years, and still remains one of my most cherished musical memories.
Wow, that's beautiful. I love that.
I think because music is such a common denominator that brings everyone together, you can say things musically that you cannot say spoken.
Yeah.
Blossom
So
Violet.
can you please repeat the what the
Oh, hey, I just
Um,
realized we have two Violets and two Matts today. So Melanie and Rob, you should have gotten the same name somehow.
there's only one Melanie, but I can't speak to Rob. Blossom, the question was, what's one of the most profound things that has influenced you musically?
Well, I think there are two. My mom um, was a self-taught operatic style singer, so she always sang, and yeah, I think even when I was in the womb. So yeah, that was a strong influence. And I think the other person would be Keith Jarrett, a jazz singer, jazz pianist. When I went back to piano playing after 37 years, and I knew this time round I wanted to learn jazz music, and as soon as I heard his music, he also does spontaneous improvisation. Yeah, I feel it in my whole body. The vibration, the buzz around the body, and I just can't explain it. So yeah, it's just amazing, when I listen to his music. So yeah, I don't really know what else to say. Like I can really relate to what he said, because I think when he was asked, how do you play music, and he said just I can't remember exact word he said, but just feeling the music, and let the music speaks to you. And and um, and I remember him saying at one of his interviews, he said, because some people said to him, how can we learn to play like you? And he said, why would you want to play like me? Because he takes his mattresses everywhere he goes when he performs, because he had such a lot of issue with posture and stuff like that. So his advice was not trying to be somebody else, but trying to be yourself, because you can only play you best. So when I heard that, was like, yeah, that's so true. That's how I played. I used to want to be like, other jazz pianists that I saw in videos, and then I was struggling, and of course I couldn't play like the way they did. And then one day I just said to myself, well, I'm not going to get anywhere if I'm trying to be somebody else. And as soon as I let that go and said to myself, I can only do me best, and I can't do anybody else's style or anything like that. And yeah, when I let that go, it was just amazing. Just amazing. The music just flowed through me, and I was no longer sort of confined in that space of I wanted to be, be someone, to play like someone, confined to a box. When I let that go, there was no box there. I just let myself go, and yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing that I don't have to be like someone. I just play, let the music flow through me, and just play and enjoy the moment. That's the most important thing for me. Be in the moment, and not trying to think of what other people are thinking about me or anything like that. Just enjoy the moment. Yeah, that's all I have to say. Just be
That's
myself.
beautiful though. Like you can apply that to all of us, right? Like we're always trying to be better than somebody else or be like other people. Like just be yourself and accept your own gifts. I love what you said. I'm sorry. I had a comment because I was like, love it. It's like this light bulb moment.
It was really beautiful. I want to read what Jenny wrote because I think it's so relative to this. Jenny said, I have always been connected to music. It moves my soul and helps me express myself when I cannot find words. Insight Timer, I'm going to cry, has been such a mind-blowingly powerful place for me to connect to so many amazing musicians. Thank you to all of you for providing this space for us, for everything we go through.
It is beautiful.
And I think it is beautiful, and it's really speaks to the power of music and to Insight Timer.
Absolutely.
Can I comment on something that Blossom just said, just to like piggyback on it, because it
Of
makes me,
course.
it brings up some stuff, and I think all the musicians here will in some way will understand this. Um, I had so much joy for music until it became my worth and my identity, and then especially when I went to school for it. Actually, I started hating music when I was in jazz school because there was this competitiveness around it. Suddenly, your worth was wrapped up in it, and and then you start feeling bad, and then you get in the cycle of I'm not good enough, and that doesn't help you improve because you're just always defeating and always self-defeating. I read this book. A lot of musicians, especially in jazz school, have read it. It's called Effortless Mastery by Kenny Werner, who's a jazz piano player, and his it's like a psychological take on musicianship and like the psychology of music. And one of the things he points to is how can we as musicians now um, get back to being childlike because we grew up too much. Because, and he brings up this example of like when you're a child and you go up to a piano and you don't know how to play the piano, you just bang on it and you love banging on it and you don't care what sound it comes out. It's just the fact that a sound is coming out and you're producing, there's this awe to it. And I know for me, I feel like I'm constantly trying to return to that child like aspect. And it's really hard to do, especially, you know, I'm a semi-professional musician at this point in my life because I put so much pressure on it and it just constantly strips away the joy from music. So how can we return to the joy of music? And I think there's something to being that, you know, finding that child within you that just is in awe of the small and simple things. I don't know if anybody else relates. I assume you guys relate to that too.
Oh, I totally relate to that. When I went to do my piano performance degree at university, first year I was, hey, I got in, you know, I got accepted and it was good. And then it was so competitive. And second year I had a burnout. I just couldn't do it anymore because everybody else was better than me. They had bigger hands than me, and I just couldn't, you know. So I was basically lost for the rest of my degree. I graduated one semester later than everybody else, and it wasn't until like me coming back to play music this time that I realized what was happening to me. And yeah, it was definitely a journey. I must say I am so grateful for everything that happened to me in the past because those were amazing, amazing teachers, the experiences. Because without those, I would not be where I am today. I've learned so much, learning to let go, learning about self-judgment, self-criticism, and it's part of my journey, you know. And I just embrace everything. Still going through a lot, of course, as we humans do. We still have a lot of human stuff to go through. But yeah, I wouldn't be here today if I hadn't gone through all those difficult stuff that I went through. So it's just amazing how life, you know, what life brings to us and what life teaches us. So yeah.
And look at those magical hands that you have.
I'm so glad to be able to play again, even with nine fingers and thumbs.
Nicola asked a while ago, which is, I think, so tied into what Rob was saying. How old were you when you realized you had a calling for music? None of them have figured it out yet. They don't know it.
Oh, I just have
Yeah.
answered it. I always feel like I'm going to jump in, but that's my ADHD. So
Same.
If it makes you feel better, you could raise a hand and we'll call you.
Or you just, I mean, it's okay to just talk. Don't.
Yeah, I was gonna say yesterday, but when I was young, my parents are pastors as well. I think someone said that their parents or you are a pastor. And my so we always were there was always music going on all the time, but I was gifted a drum set when I was in third grade, and it was very loud. But I knew, you know, energy wise, when you realize you can create something, it just piqued me in a way. So I think it should never stop. And I mean, I played other instruments, saxophone. I won't take you through the list of testing, but honestly, I'm a late piano player. I'm not like these guys are professionals. When I hear Blossom play, I'm like, oh my God, so professional. She played one of Matt F. His song you made for the children, like the children playing song. And I'm listening, I'm like, what is happening? Fantastic. when you guys play, you know, I'm very new. I got my keyboard, I bought it during quarantine, but I just knew there were sounds I wanted to put together. It was honestly when the earth was losing their, I don't know if they ever gained their minds, but when they were losing them at the moment, I wanted to calm everyone down, and I wanted to be able to create tributes for people who passed on. So
That's awesome. When you said they were losing their minds, I was thinking and buying out all the toilet paper.
yes, it's losing their minds. Yeah.
This is an interesting subject, I think, because it's actually making me think of something that I kind of don't want to admit, but I think is probably important. That really, when I started playing the piano, just a couple years out, I started when I was, I think it was about like 9 or something, and just maybe like 3 years later, 3 or 4 years later, I started playing in church, and I had over the course of my teen years a very tenuous relationship at best with church, and I was quite frankly felt like, you know, I won't get into the details of it, but I felt like it was not a place for me. But having said that, it was in retrospect how I really started to learn how to improvise, how I learned um, how to be with music in the moment in front of people, how to be able to perform, how to, you know, how to be a musician, you know, and so I've been going through some stuff lately on the subject of, you know, of going to a congregation where I feel like, you know, how how much resentment can I hold on to if this was also a part of me that provided an outlet for me to be able to have the life that I am today. So that's why it's hard to kind of put into words here, but I think that that was the time that I decided, you know, maybe not consciously, maybe not overtly, but subconsciously, I wanted to be a musician. I felt that there was a freedom in being able to take the music at church and see that it was written on a page and be like, oh, we could do more with that. We could do more with that. There's more than just what's on the page, and that's where I learned to love improvisation. And so, yeah, I guess this is, I think I have realized this before, but I've never spoken this aloud. I've never told anybody this. So, yeah, that's interesting. So thank you for that question.
Love it.
Can I just say something, Matt? What you just said, oh, well, I didn't even know that existed. That's more than, you know, what's on the page. Because previously I was playing classical music and spending, you know, 4 to 5 hours practicing daily when I was doing my degree. And first year I was enjoying it, and after that I didn't enjoy it. And I did not know there was more than what's on the page until this time around, when I picked up piano again and I started listening to jazz music, and it blew my mind what I was able to hear, because I was listening to the music not just for the sake of listening, but listening very deeply to the music, and I felt it in my soul. It was just like electrifying. It was just amazing. So yeah, I can definitely relate to what you said.
Matt Z, do you have any thoughts?
No, I have no
No.
thoughts. I was pointing to the next square.
He's passing to the other square.
Well, we can move on. Fabiola had a question. What is your main intake of your music for your own personal growth?
Good one.
And just side note, Peter Brooks said, "You're a goddess, Violet."
I wasn't sure which Violet she was referring to, but I just said, if that's for me, I receive it. If it's for Blossom, I'm taking it anyway.
Oh my God.
Maybe it's for both of you.
Okay.
It is for both of us.
There you go. Well, I'll say, for my own personal intake, I think it's very important to find peace, and music is obviously a very great way to find that peace. I try and tell people in my streams, it's very important for you to find that peace just for your own, obviously your health. Just recently, one of my friends was having a panic attack. She's in the group, Emily. I explained to her how when I had panic attacks, how I fought through that, which was by basically creating like a layer of sound, frequencies. And so I made a track specifically for that just last week to help alleviate your panic attacks. And I think that's probably the biggest intake for me personally, is where if someone tells me that this is what they're going through, then I can say, okay, let me try and create a specific piece of energy musically to get them through that experience. And if I can use my own personal experience, then I think I can be able to help others.
That's
So-
awesome. Did you upload that track to Insight Timer?
Not to Insight Timer yet. I just finished it. I posted it elsewhere.
I will find it.
But it will be very soon.
Awesome.
I
Shall
don't
move
know if
on
I
to the
understand.
next? Okay.
Well, I don't know if I understand the question. I was
Well-
trying to get the answer out of Matt's answer, and I was like, I still don't think I understand the question.
I think it could be however, I read it differently, but it says, what's your main intake of your music for your own personal growth? So looking at your own music for your own growth, what's your main intake?
Hmm. I mean,
Then
the
yes,
thing that
Fabiola asked. Sorry, go ahead.
I know Fabiola too. Love you, friend. Sorry, it's my own inability to inter. I guess what I would say is I don't know if this is answering it, but the thing that comes to me is I try not to take music too seriously, and then it brings me back to that child place. Like that I can't stress how much I lost playfulness around music for years. And like so to not to 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 have it like it is like a play toy to have fun with is super important for me for my musical growth. Because that's also another way for me to get like the ego out of the way to it as well. And also I'm not sure music was meant to be taken that seriously as much as all of us have made. I'm not saying that as a universal statement, but that's just something that comes to mind. So just playfulness around it.
That's a
How did I
great
do?
answer.
Did I answer it okay?
110.
We accept
Okay,
it.
plus.
chat. What do you think? What do you think, chat? All right.
We accept it.
Good. Okay, great.
So Violet does not like silence. I'm okay with silence, but she does not like it when no one talks. She's like,
from
oh my
New
God.
York. She's from New York.
Yes.
I'm from New
She
York.
nervous?
Yes, but I was
I'm
born
from
and
New York.
raised in New York. You were transplanted. So technically, I'm the high strung, can't have silence, gotta have horns beeping and
Okay.
noises. And now I live in the woods, so I play music all the time because
Okay.
if it gets too quiet, I freak out.
Because it's scary where you live.
Well, that too. How do you put a city girl with all those lights into these dark woods?
Well, I tell you what, I had two friends who lived in Hong Kong, and where they lived in a high rise, there were lots of traffic noises, at night. And they migrated to Australia, to Sydney. and it was so quiet for them. They couldn't get used to it. They moved back to Hong Kong.
Wow.
So it's amazing how we relate, how we get used to sound, or to them it's Sydney is just like absolutely too quiet. So yeah, it's fascinating. So
I forgot what the question was.
The question was, what's your main intake of your music for your own personal growth?
Oh, I like Emily just wrote his 432 hertz saved my life. I love that. I'm a huge fan of frequencies too. I love listening to them and they definitely calm me down. So I can relate, Emily.
Yeah, I think the frequency aspect is like the opposite of what Rob is saying, where you're taking it a bit too taking it too seriously. But I like to test. I'll tell people to test what frequencies make them feel obviously positive. You know, there's some that make you feel not so positive, I should say.
That's so
I
true.
won't say negative, but just not so positive. And I used to have stomach issues. I had to go to the doctor for, you know, years, trying to figure it out. And basically what they tell you at the doctor, they say, well, you got to figure it out for yourself. You got to figure out what works for you, what you can eat, what you can put in your body that makes you feel healthy and what makes you feel unhealthy. And I feel like it's the same way with frequencies. There's, once you find the ones that hit you right in that right spot, it can increase your health times a billion. I'm the main preacher of it. Hallelujah. If I had the your chippy voice, Blossom, I would use the chipmunk. But there's certain frequencies that literally I'll turn on and I'll say, okay, instantly I'll feel a bit healthier.
Yeah, that's so true. I've used them for sciatic pain, for migraines, and I know which ones I can, like, I will go and look for those.
That is so interesting to me because again, I'm Matt. I am not by any means an you know, an expert. I have know very little about the power of specific frequencies. But what I would say to this is I like the diversity in this room in terms of in this live as far as perspectives of how music affects us on the very least, like stress wise, you know, like if if that is something that reduces stress for somebody, that is amazing. For me, I I'm a little bit more in Rob's camp as far as my experience, you know, and what I want to do, one of my goals is to be able to learn more and to experience more and to be not that I want to ever lose my, you know, playfulness with, you know, I think that'll always be a part of me. In fact, I did want to throw it in and say that like my mantra, my musician mantra for the pianos has been since I was a kid, like treat the keyboard like my playground. And it's just that is my way of reducing stress. You know, when I hear a lot of I hear a lot of folks say, you know, I listen to soft, calming music to feel less stressed. And I do occasionally too, but maybe I'm different in this way. I don't know if anybody agrees, but I listen to like fast, peppy pop music, and I feel less stressed. Both work, but I think I'm more of the camp that gravitates towards hap happy music. And yeah, I don't know what it is, but this is just an observation on how different music affects different people. And I think it goes also back to what was said earlier about those about the melodies that we hear when we're children and absolutely how those are that has been proven to retain in brains and minds, especially when, you know, a lot of other memories have been forgotten. Those remain quite frequently, and so those what we've been gifted as a child So for me, there was a lot of happy, peppy music being played. And I always felt like that was not only an escape per se, but also I don't know if there's science behind it. I would be open to learning more about that. But at the very least, listening to that kind of music reduces my stress and just makes me feel happy. And so I think that's kind of how I've lived my life as a musician for a large part. But having said that, I just want to throw this in. I'm getting to a place where I'm always wanting to learn more about how I can be with music in a different way. So what Matt has brought up today is interesting to me, and I'm going to do more research about it. So Matt, maybe we can talk after this live. It'd be great.
I love
Yeah.
that. That's a great topic. So I remember the last time we did a musicians live, something similar came up with Wakes, and I don't remember who else it was, but that's a great topic. We'll have to do a live just on that.
I think it also depends on where you're coming from. If I am like washing dishes, I'm listening to like the peppiest music in the
True.
world. Or if I'm in a bad mood and I need to snap out of it. But when I get an MRI, because that's extremely stress inducing for me, I actually have a playlist of certain frequencies here that I took off of Insight Timer. I have like a whole healing playlist because I was diagnosed with cancer and I was listening to that all the time. And when I would go in for anything, I would just put the headphones on and I would just have my own mantra listening to these. And it was so helpful. So I do think it
Mhm.
sort of depends on maybe where you're coming from and what your goal is. And
True.
Fabiola said, I think you soothe your nervous system by going back to your safe place, to you, Matt.
Good observation.
Yeah. I mean, there's like two great questions, and I have a question of my own. Um, Peter Brooks said, is there an instrument you wished that you had taken up and you haven't yet?
I'll go first, saxophone.
Wow.
But I think being such a um, what's the word?
Vertically challenged?
Vertically challenged. I'm very vertically challenged. I think a saxophone would be like too low. I wouldn't be able to reach the
I hear
key.
you.
But I do have native, hang on, Native American flute. Is that? Yeah, NAF. Still in my drawer that I am yet to learn. That's sort of the size of a recorder, which is just my size. I think it was in A minor. So yeah, I definitely need to take that out and learn that. So for me, a lot of times, the musical instruments that I would like to learn, they are way too big for me. I still remember at high school trying to. I was in the school band, and there was a bassoon there. I had to climb up a chair to reach it. So,
We're going to start our own band. Look, I have a Native American flute too. We're going to learn how to play them, Blossom. We're going to start our own band.
yeah, definitely. So I need a miniature size saxophone. If there's ever
I love
anything
that.
like that, I would love to learn one.
Yeah, Jenny said you need a fun-sized one.
Definitely. Even toy size will do. I'll take anything.
Yeah, Jack Black plays that little, have you seen him?
Saxoboom.
Yes,
Saxoboom. Yeah.
you should get one of those. It's this little thing. It's fantastic. I
Love
don't know.
it.
It's also Jack Black, so I don't know what's going on there.
He's
Uh,
amazing.
my answer to the question, I say the same thing. I think I'm just going to say this until the day I die, and I'll never actually learn it. Do you guys know the hammered dulcimer? It's the coolest instrument ever. It's this like I don't even know what the shape is, but it's like this board and it has strings across and people play with hammers and they're usually always like Irish when they, it's like a very Irish instrument. Um but they're so crazy expensive and I don't make enough during my lives to afford one. So I'm just putting that out there. But they're crazy. They're so beautiful. And there's a guy named Jamie Janover who is a master at playing it. If you ever want to hear like an incredible hammer dulcimer. So, yeah.
Rob,
Love it.
there is a Chinese version of the dulcimer. It might be cheaper. Just letting you know. It might be cheaper.
Okay. Okay, it's good to know. Okay, great. Yeah.
Matt, you can pass. I'm gonna say this, Rob. I I don't know if anybody knows, I started playing sound, doing sound healing, and thanks to Violet, she got everyone to tip me enough that I could buy a used gong.
Aw,
So you need to have Violet in your lives.
there you go. I will come to
She
all
said
your lives
it's
and I will
Melanie's
promote.
birthday and she wants to buy a gong and let's tip her so she can do this. And I also did tell people, and everyone knows that comes to my cooking lives, like this is what I'm saving up all my donations for. And I do think if you put it out to people that you have a goal for something, people are more inclined, and I'm being very serious,
And when is your
to
birthday,
give.
Rob? When is your birthday?
It's in December, so we've got a
It's
ways to go.
now. It's tonight.
Listen,
Tomorrow.
it's next week. It's next
It's
week. We have
every
a
month.
goal.
It's every
Yeah.
month.
Yeah. Okay. So Blossom, come to the live and tell everybody we need to raise $5,000 for a hammer dulcimer for me. Okay, just
I
right
will
off the
do
bat.
anything for you, my friend.
Thank you. Thanks.
Excellent.
All right, here's your chance to put all your birthday wishes out there for the Inside Timer community.
Well, Blossom and I have birthdays coming up in May, which we're willing to rent out for the right price.
Ooh.
Oh, I love that.
Okay, well, I'll say for instrument wise, I always wanted to play. I was listening just a few weeks ago, Stairway to Heaven. It's a song by Led Zeppelin, if you haven't heard it. And they have this beautiful flutes section in there. And I was just listening to it when I took out I isolated just the flutes, and I was just kind of like, this is beautiful. You know, if you've heard it. And I've always wanted to play flute. I tried it when I was younger, and I don't, maybe we got the lips, but I could never pull it off. And I was just like, I wish I could do that. So that's my instrument.
Do you know who that flute player is on that song?
Uh-oh, let's get it.
It's the bass player. Yeah, John Paul Jones.
Wow.
Yeah,
Amazing. Thank you for that.
yeah, totally.
I'm a double failure.
Well, my question is, what's your current favorite song? And it's kind of tied into what Angie asked, which is, what kind of music did you listen to growing up?
Well, I'll answer this one. Music that I listen to now is nothing that I did not listen to it when I was growing up, because back then there was no internet or anything like that. I didn't even know jazz music existed. So yeah, the only music that I know then was my mom's singing, so more like opera sort of style. But yeah, jazz music does something to, especially piano music. It does something to me when I listen to them. It was like all the cells of the body and everything was, they're waking up and going, oh yes, please. So that does that to me. So yeah.
Beautiful.
Can I ask Matt a question, Matt F? You
Go
said that you
ahead, ask.
sing. Yeah, you said that you sing. I'm just wondering when we'll be able to hear you sing on Inside Timer Live.
Pressure.
Please don't
Well,
feel embarrassed.
thanks, Blossom. There is we obviously have a copyright thing where we can't, do, copyrighted music, but anything that's in the public domain here on Insight Timer, I would assume is fair game. That I don't know. But I don't know, maybe we'll figure it out. But yeah, that is something that I would like to do. There's also some tech issues that this is the thing, like, well, I won't get into the details on it, but there's some tech issues that make it a little more difficult than just singing into the mic.
Yeah, with the mic and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some there's some things that are going on with the with the audio, but anyway, I would love to be able to do that, and let's just say that does happen elsewhere, elsewhere.
Oh, good to know.
But thank you, Blossom.
Oh, actually, I heard your singing. That's why I suggested.
Oh,
I heard it. I have heard it. It's good.
wow.
Amazing.
Are we still answering the favorite song
You can
of
answer whatever you
Yes.
want, Rob.
really whatever
Well,
I want?
that's the question that's up right now is what's your favorite current song? I want to know. And then Angie asked, what kind of music did you listen to growing up?
Okay. The most magical band I know is this band called Bela Fleck and the Flecktones. Has anybody you all know Bela Fleck and the Flecktones? Okay. Bela Fleck is the world's greatest banjo player, and he put together this amazing band called the Flecktones, and they're all incredible at their instruments. He has a song in there, and if I remember correctly, I think my wife walked down the aisle to it, called Big Country. Listen to Big Country by Bela Fleck and the Flecktones. It's a kind of a bluegrass instrumental song. Anyway, I will go to my grave saying that's the greatest song I've ever heard. Um, the music I grew up listening to, my dad's side was all Midwest farmers, so it's country music. My grandfather, who died when I was 6, I was actually named after him. He was in a country band and played a steel guitar and a fiddle and guitar and regular guitar. So I grew up listening to country music, but then my dad also played the Beatles, 70s music, and then I have a major affection for 90s music, and I'm so glad it's making a comeback these days where everybody's like listening to 90s music. So, because that was my high school years. Yeah.
I'm with you on the 90s music, but that was my college years. Well, sort of.
Okay. It was the beginning of my college years too. Yeah. So, yeah.
I will say I do love Bela Fleck and the Flecktones. Fabulous band. I'm a big Dave Matthews guy, so whenever they team up, I'm right in there.
Anybody else? Violet, what about you?
What's my favorite music or song?
Yeah, what's your favorite song?
Oh gosh,
Nobody
I
really
don't know.
answered that. You don't have a favorite song right now?
I probably do, and it's not coming to me. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. And Cream asked sort of along these lines, what music genre do each of you sing to in the car? And if you don't drive, you have to still answer the question. Be like, oh, when I'm in the house.
Show tunes.
I love show tunes. I love Jan Tiersen when I'm doing like long drives. It's really relaxing. You know, you're just cruising by the beach and you hear the Jan Tiersen flowing out. I like listening to NPR because they'll play just whatever new random jazz stuff, and I'll be like, okay, all right, those are chords. Okay, you know, it's kind of cool. I'm for song now. I don't know if I don't really listen to, I think, anything pop music. I was blasting "Killing Me Softly," Roberta Flack, after she passed. If you're on my lives, we do tributes to people if they pass. So we did "Killing Me Softly." I love obviously I said Dave Matthews. And I think, yeah. Hans Zimmer, I will say, is a big part of my soundtrack of life. You know, Christopher Nolan, Hans Zimmer, the whole experience has, I think, would, when I pass on, will be part of me. You know, time I added just to my streams where I just closed out. I just started playing it one night, and people are like, "What is this?" I'm like, "You don't know Time by Hans Zimmer?" So I didn't write this, you know, but it's timeless, I should say.
Can I jump in for a
Nice.
second and say, Matt, I was thinking back about what the very first album that I ever bought was. Yes, I bought a CD. To the youngins in the room, and it was when I was I think maybe like 10 years old, 9 or 10 years old. And while most people, I guess, are buying like pop at that age, I was buying the Crimson Tide soundtrack, Hans Zimmer, and
It's a great movie if you've never seen it. It's like Gene Hackman and Denzel Washington. Incredible. Awesome
but
soundtrack.
anyway, yeah, amazing soundtrack,
Yeah.
and that like after listening to that, I think I wanted to become a film composer. I went to school. I got into school as a film composing major, and I switched. But yeah, no, Hans Zimmer is yeah definitely has been a huge influence on my life. But I the question was genre, and for me, it's it's musical theater through and through. I'm a musical theater composer, and I'm in the process of writing. Actually, we finished writing a musical about a year ago, and now we're in the rewrite process, and I'm just really proud of it. And I was singing in the shower before coming to this live today, so I just yeah, that's me. I love it.
Nice.
I don't sing full stop. Yeah, for some reason, I just cannot remember lyrics. I just cannot remember lyrics, but I like humming. Just go la 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 la, and just sing the sing the melody. And what was I going to say? Yes, I used to listen a lot to my cassette that shows my age, not CD, cassette of um oh, what's the singer's name? Congratulations, the song Cliff Richard. That was before all your times, I think. I used to love that song, and of course, Violet, I have to mention this Donny Osmond songs. Our secret crush, Donny Osmond, and Marie, sorry. Oh, those were the days.
Don't forget about Sean Cassidy.
Oh, yes. And
And
Leaf Garrett,
Keith.
I think.
Leaf, Keith, Leaf, all
Oh
of them.
gosh, yes. I have a fun fact that I'm going to just say in this group because I think the four of you will appreciate it. When I say it, when people like tell us a fun fact and I say it, people are like, huh? So I have sat on both Johnny Cash and Gene Simmons' laps.
As a child or an adult?
Both. Gene Simmons I was an
Whoa.
adult, and Johnny Cash, I was about 4.
Remember, this is a family show.
No kidding. You brought in Gene Simmons. That is concerning immediately. Uh, okay.
Isn't that the best ever? Because I
That's
want that
amazing.
reaction from people. When I say it, I want someone to say like adult or kid, because that's creepy. And no one says that. They're like, oh.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, Caitlin, she said I got to hug a Doobie Brother.
Oh,
Just saying. Oh, Angie asked, what was the first record you bought?
oh, the soundtrack to Friends, the TV show Friends. I'll be there for you when
I
the
love it.
strength. Yeah,
The Rembrandts?
Rembrandt.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember being in elementary school and getting a record called Run, Joey, Run. It still sticks out in my head, and probably no one knows that song. Very old.
I think my first was Regulate by Nate Dogg and Warren G.
Yes.
Number one. And I remember that's when I got into samples, because I found out that the sample was Michael McDonald, I Keep Forgetting. And it was
Yep.
this whole thing when you're young and you're like, they didn't create this, you know? they stole this from this
Regulators,
man,
round up.
mound up. And then it comes in as a tune. I keep forgetting how you're loving me. Dun, dun, dun. And so it really got me into, and even just I've been a DJ for years, and I remember playing it in class, and I remember dropping pressing the button to play, and everyone's like, and getting that reaction out of people. It kind of really changed, I think, a lot of just me personally. Affected me in a way where I was like, okay, this is how music affects people, just instantly. That one and Whitney Houston, I Will Always Love You. You drop as soon as it hits,
Yes.
and then and then when that drop hits,
Yeah.
Anybody else? Well, I'm just going to say this has been so fun. I feel that we really learned a lot about the four of you. We should do it again.
thank you so
Absolutely.
much for having me. I am so appreciative of this, Violet. Thank
Aw.
you, Mountie. You guys are fantastic. I'm so new. I'm like a baby, but I really appreciate Blossom, and I'm so happy to meet you, Matt. I've heard of you guys, but I want to check out your streams. Everything I've seen so far has been, the caliber is all the way up. So I can't even imagine being there, but I will be there for the next one. Blossom, always awesome.
Awesome, awesome. And I will be uploading this replay, not tonight, tomorrow, because tonight I promised myself I'm going to go to bed early because I'm exhausted. I will upload it tomorrow, and when I upload the replay, I put all the teachers' links in there. Matt, I have some of your sleep stuff on my playlist, by the way. So I will upload it with links to all the teachers so you can be sure and follow these amazing musicians. But before we go, we're going to ask them to share with you when they're live, tracks they've got that they want to talk about, or courses, whatever you've got going on. And I'm going to start with you, Blossom.
I've a live tomorrow at what day is today? No, hang on.
It's
Not
Wednesday
tomorrow.
for me, so I
See,
believe
told
it's
you I'm
Thursday
half
for you,
asleep.
right?
Day after tomorrow on my Saturday,
Oh,
at 7
Saturday.
a.m. Nice and early. It's a bit too early. My live this morning also at 7 a.m.
All
So
right, so that's a
yeah,
good
it's
time for me. That's like Friday
Friday
evening.
for many
Yeah.
of you. It's your Friday, so I'm really looking forward to that. And thank you very much for your invitation. And so happy to be here to meet all of you. Yeah, it's so great. When I start my new project of Blossom Violet and Musician Friends Lives, I will be inviting each one of you in the panel here, teachers, and we'll make this happen. We'll make this happen. I'm still
Wouldn't that
trying
be
to,
awesome?
yeah, I'm trying to work out all the
You will
stuff,
do it. You can do it.
technology
You can
stuff
do
that
it.
I don't understand. So we'll make this happen. We'll yeah, and maybe do a dual thing. I don't know how to jam, and
The
yeah,
dueling pianos.
let's. I think Matt has put up his hands for that to duel with me. So Matt, you have to guide me what to do, how to duel on the piano. Yeah, we maybe one day we might even do a session with all three of you, and all at once playing together. That would be interesting.
That'd
I
be
don't know whether
cool.
it's possible, but we are here to
Listen, if
have
I knew
fun.
how to do the tech for sound, I would host that for you. But I don't know anything about sound. I'm sound challenged.
Oh, it's the to enable the musicians, what do you call it? Original sound for musician. Just put the resolution on low. And I don't think you need to do that because you're not playing the
Oh,
music. Yeah,
you would
so
all
it's
need to
just
do
for
it.
us.
Yeah, actually, at a live last night, Dakota asked me if she could share sound, and she did her. You saw her. You were there.
Yeah,
Her
she's
sound
amazing.
came.
Yeah.
Her sound came through beautifully.
Yes.
I
So
mean, she
thank
wasn't
you so
live. She was
much.
playing something she had pre-recorded and
Yeah, it
speaking at
was
the same
amazing.
time.
It was amazing.
It was
All right,
beautiful.
thank you, Violet, Melanie, and everyone, Matt
Thank
and
you. Thank
Rob.
you for being
Yeah,
here.
thank you.
Matt F.
Yeah, my next live is going to be on Sunday at 5:30 Pacific time, and that one is that one's the longer one. They're usually an hour, but this particular one is 90 minutes on Sunday, and I'm trying to make it kind of like the core, the centerpiece of the lives that I do because I think it's good. It's a good into going into the week and to reflect back on the week. But I do want to say, yes, Blossom, I would love to do the dueling pianos thing, and I'll put it very loosely in it, like dueling pianos, because yeah, there's a lot of there's a lot of things in dueling pianos that I don't know would be appropriate for Insight Timer, but we'll make our own version of it, and I'm just very much I'm just so appreciative of you welcome me back into Insight Timer communities, the community here, because it's been a while and I've been away for a while. And so
4 years.
4 years, yeah.
I counted.
4 years. So
I was
thank you.
honestly, I was so excited when you popped up that you were having a live again. I was like, what?
But yeah, I had remembered the love on Insight Timer, and so that is a big part of what drew me back. And so thank you, Violet. Thanks, Melanie, for also being a big part of this. And it's so great to meet you, Rob, Matt, and Blossom always. And I would love to I would love to get like a musician jam session together. That would be amazing.
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
Thank you.
I'm gonna go to Matt Z next.
See, I don't know when my next live is. I'm in the process of closing one door, opening another door, business wise. So I'll be in Vegas, which I usually try and do either Friday or Saturday night, 10 p.m. West Coast time. But I'm hopefully next week I can lock it down so I have space and I'm healthy enough to come in and share some frequencies and calm people down, hopefully. So if you check me out, hopefully next week, and I want to try and get my new anti-anxiety medicine track up very soon as well, if you don't see me live, but hopefully
Yeah,
next Friday or Saturday.
you've got some awesome tracks too uploaded. Like I was saying, the ones for sleep that I've used are really awesome.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you for having me. What you just said is why I think I exist. I always tell my streams, if I can't be a vessel for positive energy, why do I even exist? If you feel it, then I think my job is done. So
Awesome.
thank you so
Absolutely.
much. Thank you
You're
for
very
having me. I
welcome.
appreciate it.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you for being here. I'm always thrilled when I invite people and they say yes and they don't snub me. So thank you.
I'm not going to yell at you.
Thank you. Don't beat me up. Rob, last but not least.
Hey. Okay. So first of all, nice to meet all of you. This was very inspiring and it's just cool to hang out with musicians. And so I appreciate everybody in the chat as well. I will schedule a live for next week. I had one today and I ended up canceling it this morning. For a couple reasons. One, I accidentally double booked with Blossom, and I don't want to do that. And I just had a crazy day as it was. So I will make it up next week. The one cool thing is my wife and I have had. So my wife is Lindsay Gregerson. She's a yoga teacher on here, and we've had this idea of me looping live improvisational music while she's doing yoga in a different room, and we finally figured out the technology to do this. So we're going to try it at her next yoga meditation. We'll have a camera on me doing live looping, and the bigger camera will be on her doing yoga. So we're going to try doing this. It might be next week. I'm not sure when that's going to be, but we'll figure it out. And then we also, her and I upload meditation tracks where I play the music behind her leading meditation over on her page. So yeah, check that out as well. And I think that's all I have.
Rob, you should tell your wife to get in touch with me so that we could have her on one of the general Ask Your Guides Q&As, because I'm hesitant to approach people. So
Oh, you
send
approach
her.
her. She's Canadian. She's like super kind and sweet.
She won't hurt me.
Not at all. I get
Right.
the reference. Not at all. She won't hurt you. So yeah. Yeah, we'll get her on
If
one of these as
anybody
well.
out there has anybody they want to send to me, please do. The gentle, nice people, ask them to message me.
I just want to say, Rob, you can schedule your live anytime.
Oh, well, totally. But it actually worked out today to cancel. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah,
cool.
All right.
so
Well,
amazing.
thank you. Thank you, all of you, for joining us. This was amazing. I love hanging out with Insight Timer teachers. Everybody knows this is why I do what I do. I'm not a musician. I'm not a yogi. I'm not a lot of things. What I am is good with tech, and I figured out how to use it to my advantage so I could hang out with all of you. So I'm loving these. Thank you for joining us. And with that, I am going to say goodbye. And again, a reminder, I will upload the replay tomorrow. Find the link in my teacher's profile in the About section at the bottom. And I will upload the replay with links to these amazing musicians, because I definitely want to encourage you to follow them and attend their lives and play their tracks, because they are amazing. So with that, we're going to say
Do you want
goodbye.
to see a
Melanie, did
cute
you want to?
dog before we leave?
Oh, absolutely. Oh my
Oh,
gosh, he is so cute. I was gonna say, you know, I'm a huge dog lover. That's where all my donations always goes to animal rescues. Melanie, did you want to say anything before we go?
I was saying goodbye, and I wanted to say that you're from the Bronx. That's what I started to say earlier when I got muted, that you're from the
Oh,
Bronx and you can take care of yourself.
absolutely. Absolutely, I am. Puerto Rican and from the Bronx. That's like two,
Whoa.
two superpowers.
yeah, I just want to
Gosh.
say, Violet, you are amazing. Without you hosting Ask Your Guides, we wouldn't be here and we wouldn't meet all the fantastic teachers on the website. And
Thank you. Thank you. And I wanted to thank you because today during your live, you said something that really touched me. And it was that me doing this is how teachers have gotten to know each other. And that lit me up, because I love that. I love introducing teachers not just to the community, but to each other. And I do feel like a lot of us have become friends as a result. And I feel like that's my purpose. So I'm set. I fulfilled my purpose. Thank you.
thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, friends. Thank you for all the love. All right, we're going to say goodbye. I'm going to end
See
the
everybody.
live.